24 podcast, where lifelong friends Dean Legiro and Eric Kuber share their love of all things music and movies. Dean has directed short films and is a music trivia buff. And Eric, trained in audio engineering, brings his extensive knowledge of music and film to the conversation as they discuss, debate, and celebrate their favorite albums, films, and much more.
Applause.
What? You shouldn't have. Oh, no, it's just one.
Welcome. We got the whole
crowd is here.
The whole crowd is here.
The whole crowd is here for us.
So I see what you're doing.
It makes me feel good when we start off. We already have the backing of the crowd. The crowd is already with us. So how can we not? How can we not be in a good mood when you have a reception like that? When you walk in the door and the cheers are already there.
Yeah.
It's going to be a slam dunk tonight.
Yeah.
It's going to be a slam dunk. So welcome everybody to the 3324 podcast Wednesday night live edition. As always, I'm here. Eric is there.
In the house.
There he is.
There.
I'm pointing the right way.
Yeah.
There he is. It's opposite. So yeah, it's like I'm pointing that way. There we go.
Can we match up our fingers? Do you think we can do that?
Yeah, I think so.
There you go. Yeah. E.T.
We should do like Vader.
Zach Kuber, good evening.
Like Vader, force
right?
Force touch.
Yeah, we'll blow each other off the screen.
Good evening, Zach. How are you? Throw your hellos into the chat so we can recognize you. There's Mr. Grady. Yo.
Sean Grady. Hello, sir. Elizabeth Berg. Hello. Very, very good to see you folks.
Welcome aboard, everybody, to the 3324 podcast Wednesday night edition. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to wait for people to come on in. We've got a fun evening lined up with some exciting news as well. If you look down here, you'll see that there's a new episode coming out tomorrow, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Our celebration of the 40th anniversary of
yes.
Quite possibly the best Star Trek film.
Could it be?
Ever made. And I think we make a good case for that. So yeah.
I think we do.
Yeah.
It's not hard to make a good case for it. It's really not difficult. I don't mean that in a bad way, but meaning it is so head and shoulders above everything else that it's like, it's like a slam dunk. So if you're here, put a hello in the chat so we can say hi to you, but then also put you in the wheel of names, because we give stuff away. We do giveaways. I mean, this is kind of how we roll. It's we skimp on other things. We don't take a paycheck, but we use that budget towards giveaways for you. Well, at least I told Eric he doesn't get a paycheck.
As per usual.
Volunteer.
I am strictly volunteer.
You do it for the love. You do it for the love of the game, right? That's why.
Yeah. What do they call it? Buono. What is it? Quick.
Pro bono.
Pro bono. Yeah. That's
free.
That's me. Yeah.
Free. With the hopes.
With the hopes that it'll turn out fine. So
one day we'll be like Scrooge McDuck diving off the diving board into like the sea of gold and swimming.
We can only hope.
We should reenact that, but I don't know who's going to dress as Scrooge McDuck though. So anyway, thank you everybody.
You could do the accent. I think you do it pretty good.
Well, he's kind of Scottish. He's kind of like Scotty.
Yeah, but you used to do that back in the day. You used to imitate what's the guy from
who?
The Sherlock Holmes Disney film, with the mice,
Who? Vincent Price is character?
No, but there was a character that was Scottish in that film, wasn't there? And you used to imitate him a lot.
I think
if I recall.
I can't remember. Yeah. I have it. I'll have to crack open the DVD.
Yeah. What kind of
or just go on Disney Plus, of course. Tonight's beverage of choice is the bluest of moons.
The Blue Moon,
as usual. So
I just got my water because I'm still battling my what I'm convinced was COVID.
Was the
unfortunately
the
the vids. So
booze helps that as well.
Icks.
it'll knock it out. Water just slides through.
Water.
Good evening, Andrew. Welcome aboard.
Hello,
sir. Glad you could make it. So yeah, tomorrow we've got this really great episode, Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan. Even if you're not a Star Trek fan, check it out anyway. You know, we make a compelling case as well for non-Trek fans to check out this film just as a standalone, you're not going to be indoctrinated and brainwashed into it, but maybe you might end up liking it. But I think it's just a standalone sci-fi film that says it all. Khan.
There is a
Khan, you bloodsucker. I love that.
There's a lot of nostalgic history to this as well. I mean, everybody I know loves the film, even that are not Star Trek fans. So
yeah, it stands on its own.
Their childhood as well. So no names mentioned, but it's just one of those films that it transcends everybody's taste. And
it was a shock, and the stuff we go into on the episode is pretty compelling about the budget and what they did after the first Star Trek film. So check that out. We will go there and go there tomorrow with it. And we've got a special guest, Roland Arucci, who joined us, who's a big Star Trek fan. We kind of grabbed him in and sat him down and made him talk about it.
And of course, our regular favorite, Nick Leshy, also joins us. Hello, Christy.
You're going to have to come down here, Khan. Yeah. You're going to have to come down here.
Oh, we could go on and on, man. Yes. Why don't we make this the Wrath of Khan 2.0 live version?
Wrath of Khan after show.
We'll reenact all the great scenes, including the worm. We'll get the worm.
We tried it your way, Khan. Yeah, so much great stuff. It's great stuff. But we're here tonight to talk about board games throughout time. It's one of those things that nowadays it's kind of had a comeback, especially for adults, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But board games in general, is part of I think every child's life, even in the days of tablets now. I think there's something to be said for parents passing on those board games that they remember down to their children as well, and we all kind of, I think there was like a core set of board games that I think everybody played as a child. So we'll get into the different eras, but we thought it would be fun to kind of start with like the classics. What were some of the classics you played as a child, like not a teenager, but like maybe 10 and under? And I guarantee you there'll be commonalities. So throw it to the chat. Let's get it started. And I'm sure we're going to be getting more people jumping in, but let's kind of get it going. I'll start off one that was probably the most popular one, which was Candyland.
No, of course. Yeah.
It was a very simple game for a child to pick up. Oh, there he goes. Great. There it is. Right. You draw the card. It had the color on it. You moved your person to the color, or it have like a donut on it or something.
Typing it in. He was typing it in. He was trying to beat his response. So there you go.
Yeah. I think Candyland was one of those staples that it was easy. Yeah. And I would probably enjoy playing it now. It's kind of, it's luck of the draw. There's not a whole lot of strategy in it, but you're kind of, as a child, it kind of gets you, playing with other people, and it's a little bit competitive, but you don't really have to think too much about it.
Andy hit it right on the head.
Yeah, Mousetrap.
Mousetrap. You're right. Just the cage and the mouse. I never bothered with the whole game. Right.
I had the game. I still don't know the damn rules. The same thing. I just set the thing up and let it roll. Like I don't even know who you moved, where you moved them to. It was just like set up the bathtub, set up the ladder, set up the
it was quite
bucket.
Sophisticated for its time for a kid, right? I mean, it taught you how to put things together, and you had to have it exactly right. And this, it was all about the geometry of it, and So yeah, it was pretty cool. Chutes and ladders.
Yeah, another game of chance. Chutes and ladders is you can go make your way up and just as quickly make your way back down again if you if you hit if you land on the wrong spot. So it's kind of these games are kind of like Chutes and Ladders kind of levels up from Candyland. It's kind of like the next evolution of moving your way across the board. And then there's risks and rewards. You can get the ladder, or you can kind of end up down. And how many times were people near the end and then they get the chute and they go, there was like one long one that would just like slide like all the way down to
that's
like the third level. It would like take you all the way down to the beginning.
That's right. Operation. Yeah. Operation. That's great one. Oh my God. Talk about nerve-wracking every time. I was actually, when I was really, I remember being afraid because I honestly thought I was going to get electrocuted playing that game.
There's a little zapper, a little zap. So speaking of Operation, we've got trivia questions. We've got some giveaways tonight. So let's show the giveaways. Obviously, we're talking board games. So we're going to be giving away a couple of classic board games that I think still hold up now. That you could break out as adults at a party. Not going to be too challenging. People, I don't want to learn this. Two classic games that are really going to kind of be easy peasy. The first one is Yahtzee. I mean, kind of.
Oh, look at that. It's like old school. Look at that OG packaging, man. Look
exactly.
At that. That's beautiful.
It's the king of like party adult games and kids could play and keeping score. That there's some skill and there's some luck involved. And then next up is this is the retro version, the 1986 version of Clue, which I think is nowadays with the video game Among Us, when you're trying to figure out who the culprit is. I think Clue is another good one that you can kind of break out if you're into game night, or if you're not. This is the start. This is where you can start building a collection of some fun games that you can kind of have when you have people over. Casual stuff. You don't have to go deep dive and get crazy with it. So. I have an Operation trivia question, oddly enough.
Okay.
So we'll start right off. So the first and please, if you're in the chat, say hi so we can recognize you and put you on the wheel of names, so you might be able to win one of those. So the trivia question is, how many body parts can be removed in Operation?
Is this a multiple choice, or just you have to answer?
I'm not giving multiple choice. I want to see the spread of answers. So how many body parts can be removed?
I wish there was some way to indicate how many people. Some way we could see how many people are actually on their phones right now looking this.
That's all. We've got all of them. We've got all of them, which is technically correct. Sean's got 24. Elizabeth Berg has 12. We got any other answers? Let's get some more answers into the chat, and say hi. Put a hello into the chat as well, so we know that you're there.
And Connect Four how many does body count, parts? Christy. That was another great game.
We'll get to that too. Zach's got so we have a 24, an 18, and a 12, and all of them. We have another 12. So let's see. We'll give another moment, and then we'll uncork it. But yeah, Operation was one of those kind of you needed a level of skill and like steady hands. So if you were a nervous Nelly, like Operation was not the game for you. If you're trying to get like the horseshoe out, especially.
Yeah.
And because that thing's like curved, and you got to kind of shimmy it out and kind of finesse it out. And
I'm telling you, it was nerve-wracking. And
it was like that carnival game with the wire, right? And you'd have to go through the wire and get it to the other end without it going. It was like
not a good game to play if you have high anxiety.
If you're skittish.
Because like I said, you're afraid to touch the.
If you're heart attack sensitive. So the correct answer of how many body parts can be removed in Operation, and someone did get it right. The first person that got it right was Elizabeth Berg, 12.
12.
Well done. There are 12 body parts that you can remove. The funny bone, the horseshoe. I think the heart is in there as well. So there's 12 different ones. So technically Andy was correct as well.
And so was Christy.
With all of them. And Christy was correct as well.
Yep.
So well done there. Yeah, Connect 4 was another one, right? Basically a kind of a modern take on tic-tac-toe.
Yeah.
Right? You have to kind of get the things across there. Very, very simple, very simple. They reuse checkers. So I'm sure they went to the checker factory and said, what can we do with this stuff? Something different.
It's almost like a vertical version of checkers, like in a sense, like almost like a three-dimensional chess in Star Trek.
Yeah, you got to put them in and strategize and get Connect 4 in a row.
Elizabeth Berg had mentioned Trouble was another game.
She had Sorry and Trouble.
Pop-O-Matic. That was the thing you always playing with that.
That thing was loud as shit. Though. It was like, ping, ping, I was like,
yeah.
But they encased in plastic, so you didn't lose.
Right. So
you're not going to lose the die because it's encased in this globe that you push on. And it's just Perfection is another great one.
Just drive your parents crazy. That Pop-O-Matic thing. That you just like enough.
Stop it. Yeah, Sorry. All these games were kind of staples for when you were young, and in a weird way, I think they're kind of, developmental, right? I mean, Operation kind of helped you really helped with concentrating, right? Because you had to get your little tweezer in there and have steady hands. And I don't know what they were trying to train with it, but it was a skill. It was a skill game. Just like Perfection was a skill game also. Mm-hmm. Sorry, it was a little bit more of a strategy game. When you slide down, and if there's someone at the bottom of that, you'd move their piece would be moved, and and get sent packing.
Yeah.
So it was great. Just do you have a trivia question? You're frozen right now, but
I'm frozen on the screen, but you can still hear me.
Okay, we can hear you. So let's get a trivia question.
Okay. Well, another great early game that was Battleship. That was one of my favorites as a kid. So the question is, actually, I just answered my own question. That was stupid of me. Sorry. So I'm going to go with another one.
And he's not even drinking.
I'm not even drinking. I'm sorry. That was just idiotic of me. Okay. So so we're going to go with a Monopoly question.
Okay.
Because that's one of the early. That thing is old as the world is in itself, but the longest Monopoly game ever went on for how many days? And I'll make this a multiple choice. Okay. A, 10, B, 25, C, 70, or D, 90 days.
Wow.
Longest Monopoly game ever went for how many days?
What were the choices?
A10, B25, C70, D90.
10, 25, 70, or 90?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Christy said you sunk your own battleship.
Yes, I did. Very good. Yeah, I'm looking at words here. I'm like, battleship. Oh, that's right. I'm like,
Sean, Rebound was the game with the it was almost like a not shuffleboard, but it was like a marble that had plastic around it, right? And you sent it down and it would hit the two rubber bands and come back the other side, and it would land on a different score, right? I think that's what Rebound. I think that's Rebound, right? Let me know. While we're waiting, Andrew says it's hard for me to imagine that anyone has ever finished a full game of Monopoly. Yeah, If you're cutthroat enough, that's why some people don't like to play Monopoly. It's like, it's too cutthroat and you're greedy. It's just a game, but it's part of it. Yep, the gold board, red and it had the rubber bands at the end, so the rubber bands were kind of at like 45-degree angle, so it would hit one, bounce to the other, and then come back, and you'd have to kind of get your points. So,
all right, so I'm gonna read those.
Yep, give us the
answers again. Longest Monopoly game ever played went on for how many days? It's either A, 10, B, 25, C, 70, or D, 90.
Wow. What is it?
I do see some correct answers, and the correct answer is C, 70 days.
Sean Grady, 70 days, and Zach 70 days. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, that's insane.
Did they sleep, or did they kind of all right, we'll go to sleep, and then we'll
I'm sure they probably, I can't, I can't even get past 2 hours with that game.
It had to be a property battle. It had to be like, one guy had Boardwalk and Park Place, and somebody had all the rest, and they were just kind of swapping money back and forth, which kind of leads us to the kind of the teenage years, right? So you kind of moved away from Candyland, and I'm not gonna play Candyland, and Mousetrap, while it's very cool and innovative, was still in kind of the kiddie arena, as it were. But as everybody just started saying, games like Perfection started to kind of up the ante a little bit, right? You had to kind of quick, it's a time sensitive game, and you had to be thinking, and manual dexterity was needed. And then you start to get games like Monopoly, where you're learning about money and mortgaging and hotels and how to manage that, so you're learning some skills. Not that Monopoly ever helped me financially, but
right. Right.
but it's one of those these games all kind of fit in. And another one was Stratego. Does anybody remember Stratego?
I do,
with
indeed.
With the armies, and you would place the pieces wherever you want, the spies, the soldiers, and the commander, and the cannons, and just kind of take turns going back and forth. I always liked that game because it's a pretty simple premise. You got to kind of set it up yourself, and you have at it. You know, Trivial Pursuit and Mole Madness.
Wow.
Trivial Pursuit definitely skewed toward the adult side, right? That was really that was really like a second age when Trivial Pursuit came out. All of a sudden, like, yeah, adults were playing board games. Like, oh wow, this is something we can get around. And those questions were hard too. This is pre-internet, right? So there was like six, I don't know how many different categories there was, but there would be, all the different pieces you had to get. And you would have to answer some seriously hard geography and all that questions. Hey, Beth.
Beth Navarra.
You made it. Let's go put her on the wheel.
Junior version of Trivial Pursuit.
There's like 800 versions of it now. Of course, Star Wars, Friends, the 90s, the 2000s, the 80s, the 70s. So many supplemental things, which is great though, because they keep, you buy the core game, then you can just expand and just kind of keep going with it. Categories, another adult game where kind of a party game, people yelling stuff out. Taboo was like another one of those, and Pictionary, kind of all like adult style games that were kind of really popular, that kind of brought that back. Hey, Dwight, good evening.
Dwight Burke. I'm still stuck. I'm still frozen there.
I don't know why.
Maybe if I should just try to leave and come back.
Yeah, we'll be here if you want to. Yeah, you want to jump out and come back in.
Yep.
I'll vamp for a little bit. I'll do another trivia question.
There you go. See you in a few.
Parcheesi is going really.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, Parcheesi. That was in the Cooper household. That was the ultimate game.
That was the de facto game.
Oh yes. And my mom was a passionate player. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah? You should, if she doesn't have a game, you should get her a board just so she has.
Yeah. Oh, well, she has it.
Oh, she does.
And so do we. Yeah, I bought the old school version myself. Because so all my kids, played it. So yeah, that's a great one. For the family. So. Yep.
Sean says Stratego was a fun game, planting the bombs. See, that was the easy thing though. I never planted the bombs around the flag. I would kind of put them, trying to take out those heavy duty guys quick, and I would kind of scatter the bombs towards the front just to kind of blow them away, and kind of this way you took out all their guys and then I can advance. But Stratego was another one, and then of course Risk was like the advanced version of like world domination. Played it very few times. Risk was just a tough. That's a long game. You want to talk like Monopoly? You think Monopoly's long? Try playing a game of Risk. Was just kind of absolutely crazy. Don't Break the Ice was another great children's one, right? Where you had the hammer and you had to tap out the blocks, and you couldn't be the one that tapped everything and when it fell out. Clue, which we're giving away. Tonight we're going to be giving away a copy of Clue to one lucky winner, and we'll be giving away a copy of Yahtzee. So these are all easy party fun games that adults can play together. It doesn't take a lot of, it's too complicated to explain. Yahtzee and Clue, everybody can do. Beth says she loves Risk, which was a great one. Uno still is a staple. I mean, that's kind of like, that's a game you can carry with you and everybody knows it. Reverse, double reverse, pick 4, pick 2. It's just one of those strategy / luck games, which is another great one that's just easy to kind of get into and get people playing. And that's the fun thing about board games, especially as adults. I think it kind of brings people together, just kind of sitting around, especially with all the technology we have at our disposal. It's kind of nice just to sit around with a bunch of people where you're just talking with each other and everybody's not in their phones. And so that's why, I started a collection of board games as well. I have some stuff. And it's fun to kind of have it just for the off times when you do have that opportunity, or you bring it with you to a barbecue or something, and you just kind of start a casual game and just kind of get people interacting with each other. Christy called me Mr. Mouth. She's not too far off on that. That is really a correct assessment of me. What can I tell you? So while we're waiting for Eric to come back, let's toss another trivia question in there. This is a Scrabble question. Let's see who knows this. And don't check your phones. Stay off of Google. How much is the letter X worth in Scrabble? How many points is the letter X worth in Scrabble? Put that into the chat. Millborns, which is I believe Swedish. I believe it's a Swedish game. It's very popular when we were young. Yes, I knew it was a game. I was making a joke. That was humor. That was humor. All right, we've got answers coming in. How many points is the letter X worth in Scrabble? Hey Ray, how are you? Welcome aboard, sir. Glad you could make it. And while you're here, put in how many points is the letter X worth in Scrabble? What do we got? We've got some answers coming in. We got two of the same answer, actually, oddly enough, which is interesting. I'll give you another couple seconds. Put it into the chat. Welcome aboard to anybody just joining us. Tomorrow, we've got a new episode. Oh, Eric is back. Let me put him on the stream, hopefully. There you are.
Go. There I am. I was just texting. I was like, you need to put me
back
on because I can hear everything that's going on, but I'm not there.
Put me in, coach.
I want to play. Yeah. Okay.
Rookie, you were good. John DeGoog, how are you? How are you, John? While you're here,
Ray Fry. Yeah, we're getting a lot of faces tonight. Very good. Excellent.
John DeGoog, we'll wait for you. What is the how much is the letter X worth in Scrabble? Go ahead and put your answer into the chat. How many points is the letter X worth in Scrabble? And then we will unfurl that answer that everybody's been waiting for. And Eric is back. He's refreshed. He's live in person. He's no longer frozen.
Yeah.
He's no longer frozen like Han Solo.
Here I am. There you go. Yeah, that was a really caught me at a bad. I didn't like.
There you are, Eric. See? There you are. All right. Well, we do have a correct answer. And oddly enough, the last person that jumped in got the correct answer. The number of points that the letter X is worth in Scrabble is 8. John DeGoog.
Wow.
Yeah, we had 10. We had 10. We had 62. And we had 10. We had a lot of 10s, oddly enough. Interesting. I believe the Q and the Z are worth 10 each. And the X is worth 8. So that was, again, Scrabble, Boggle. There's that whole separate section of word games where you had to think about things and arrange letters. Scrabble kind of, again, makes you really think. And then there's always a lot of controversy about whether a word is a word, right? Oh, you put something, that's not a word. Well, yeah, it is. I was like, no, look it up. That's been 6 plus 2 equals 8.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of these great types of games where pretty much any type of thing you liked. If you liked the word stuff, you had that. There was math games, that like number games, all kinds of different things. So you can kind of get into it and really have fun with it. Like I said, Monopoly was. I actually had a weird thing. Let me see. It was probably the late 90s, and I got like this weird OCD thing where I bought a couple of Monopoly games, and then I just started buying Monopoly games, and then I didn't stop buying Monopoly games.
Really?
And then every time for every birthday, I'm like, oh, I need this Monopoly or I need that Monopoly. And one day I counted and I had 75 different editions of Monopoly, like from the 30s. And I had one, the board with, the packaging was in the shape of Texas. It was the Texas edition. I had all these different Monopoly things. And I looked, I'm like, what am I going to do with all these? What am I going to, and it was before. Nowadays there's even more editions, but it was back in those days where I was pretty much grabbing like The Simpsons, Wizard of Oz, this, that, and the other. And then I looked, I'm like, what am I doing?
Andrew Cremines, there's Metallica Monopoly, just saying. Yes, there is. There's everything.
Just saying,
Star Wars,
the black edition.
Yeah.
So what I did is I ended up selling 98%. I kept like 5. I think I kept 4 or 5 Monopolies that I really wanted, and everything else just went. And I have some really like expensive. It's called the Heirloom
I never
edition,
knew that.
So I kept that.
How come I didn't know that? How come that's one tidbit that you never shared? And I've been to your house. I've seen, I've never seen
not back then. That was when I was living in Yonkers, and I just had them stacked up. I had a bookcase with them. I had them in the closet. They were just everywhere. And then it got out of control. I'm like, what am I doing? And then I just started putting them all on eBay. Beanie Baby Monopoly. No, I had a lot though. I had Simpsons. I had all the different states. Just all kinds of crazy stuff, Sean's saying he's never played Risk or Life. Should I? I would say Life might be fun. Risk is just really, global domination.
That's that is a heavy.
It takes a long time. It takes a long time to
it's like it's kind of like a very sophisticated game of chess, really. I mean, it's like you have to really know your opponent, and you got to try to outmaneuver him, and
and you have to see where they place their.
It gets involved,
their troops and stuff.
A couple of times in my life, and it's of course I got I got dominated. So
all of them unopened. I think only one of what I have. I think one or two are unopened, and the rest are sealed. I have like a Star Trek one, which is a special edition with a wormhole. There was a wormhole in the middle of the board, which changed the game.
Yeah.
I've got a Wizard of Oz Monopoly, which is worth a lot of money. It's the first edition of Wizard of Oz. A couple of Star Wars original edition ones as well, but don't come to my house.
Christy, yes.
Does it take 70 days to play Risk? Probably does.
If you're talking about Risk, I would say so. Once you're involved,
Life is great, and it's a great serial as well, but it's also a game. So Life was one of those in-betweener games where kind of kids played it, but then you started playing it as a team. It had like a different meaning, because it's like the game of life. You have to have kids and put the kids in the car and get a job, and the car would go over like the little hills, and you spin.
It's serious.
Stuff started changing. Like games started kind of like, okay, no more of the Candyland. It's like you got to start paying bills now. You got to start paying rent. Like play Monopoly. You have to build a house. You got to collect from people.
That's right.
You go to jail. Like
that's right.
You go to jail. Like the game of Monopoly was like a serious, serious thing. Life takes years. It does.
Or even if in life, isn't there like divorce and stuff like that too? Or isn't there like a whole I'm pretty sure. If not, then I'm sure they probably added to it, over the years.
Bankruptcy, divorce,
foreclosure.
It should be called It should be called depression. It shouldn't be called life.
Right. You need a bottle of Jack to go with this game.
Checkers or chess, right? Yeah. Basics. Like those are some of the first games you'll learn. Checkers is like one of the first games you learn.
Yeah.
Did you ever like chess? I used to like chess. I sucked at it.
My dad.
But I could never play. But I enjoyed playing. I was just horrible at it.
My dad's a good player. He tried to teach me, and I could never quite again. It's just one of those. It's not so much.
I'm not a high level thinker.
Yeah, you have to outwit your opponent. You got to anticipate his next move, and that's the hard part of the game.
You can't outwit someone if you're already a dimwit. So I was not.
And
chess was not my game.
Now, who's really good at it is our good friend John. John. He's a whiz at that game.
He had this. What do you have? The Civil War chess set, or you have Arthur one?
Actually, he had one that was like. It was like the Indian, British Indian thing, like the mutiny of 1857, and with this big tall marble board, and I'm like, holy crap! I mean, that's dedication right there. But it was a beautiful set.
Life is. It takes a lifetime.
Yeah,
and life is heavy. So very very true, very truisms. Do you have a trivia question, Eric?
I do, and this is back to Trivial Pursuit. Where was it from? What country introduced Trivial Pursuit?
Wow. Fine pewter portraits.
Yes.
The Franklin Mint.
Andy, you're right on point. These were like hand painted. They were. This thing was immaculate. It was like Frasier. I think there was an episode of Frasier where he had like this really antique chess set. It was like, and the pieces were like this big. They were like huge, and that was the board that Johnny had. So it was crazy. But,
so what was your question again? Trivial Pursuit.
What country is from Trivial Pursuit? Where does it hail from? Where was it?
All right, we've got a couple of answers coming in. While we're doing that tonight, we've got some giveaways. We'll be giving away a copy of Yahtzee, the fun game that makes thinking fun. Right? You need to do a little thinking, and it's really fun. It is fun. It's one of my favorite games. So casual. And then of course Clue. Mm-hmm. Again, great games that you can break out at an adult party. Not a big learning curve. You're not going to get people. I don't want to learn it. It's like, come on. You could roll some dice. We'll walk you through it. Trivial Pursuit is one of Ray's favorites.
Yep.
Multiple choice of 195. I don't know.
We have a New Zealand. We have a Germany.
We've got a UK.
We got a UK.
New Zealand, Germany. Come on, get some answers in there. While we're waiting, also I think this is a prime time to kind of take a break and really promote our next live show is virtual trivia night. We are doing actual full on, no subject, no idle banter. We're doing trivia night in 2 weeks. We've got everything is already set. We're doing 3 rounds, just like classic trivia that you would go to a bar and do. Right. So we've got 3 rounds. We're going to have, you guys are going to need to be on the honor system though. So no Googling, I can't, we're going to, there's no way for you to surrender your phones at the door.
Right.
But you're going to keep your score and, mental multiple choice of 195 for the countries. There we go.
Okay.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a round of general trivia. We've got a photo round. Where you have to guess what the photo is, and then we've got a music and movie trivia round. So we'll be doing, and then we'll have a final round, kind of like a Final Jeopardy round too. So join us or spread the word. Let's have some people come out for trivia night in 2 weeks. It'll be a lot of fun, full on trivia. None of the filler that we normally do here, where it's just us kind of.
Dean's real excited about this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
He loves his trivia, so
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So Eric, what's the answer? What do you got?
Okay, any of the takers?
Last call for alcohol.
We have a UK, we have a Germany, we have New Zealand. Anything else?
And then Andy says the other 195, or Sean says the other 195.
All right. The answer is Trivial Pursuit it's from Canada.
Ah, the Canucks.
Yes.
Known for Tim Hortons and Trivial Pursuit.
There it is. Yep. Oh, Canada.
Yeah, so, that's Trivial Pursuit was like the thing in the 80s. Yeah. It was kind of, they couldn't keep enough of those. And that was like a big game. Came in a big heavy box because it had all the parts and how many decks of cards. Those were brain busters.
And you talk about editions like Monopoly. You could collect those as well. So many different versions of the game, and movie versions, and there's a whole like music one,
just add-ons,
Disney, there's a whole
so it was like expansions. It was like expansion packs just for which it wasn't like, oh, we played Candyland, you want to play again? Oh, we know the game. It's like, all right, let's bust out what deck do you want to bust out? Let's bust out the sports edition of Trivial Pursuit, or depending on who's there. Battleship is a classic, right?
Yeah, Beth Navarre, I screwed up my first trivia question. You weren't here for that. I think you didn't come on yet, but I answered my own trivia question with Battleship. So
play with the family after Thanksgiving dinner, right? I mean, these types of board games were really, again, kind of bring people together. Sometimes for better or for worse. Sometimes fights would kind of kick off depending on the depending on the game or how competitive somebody would be. That
was Parcheesi in my house. My mom, like I told you, she was very. I mean, she would get angry because there's certain things you do in the game that you can block people and you can't move, and it's and she always got frustrated because my dad would just do it all the time, and she's like, move your goddamn block, and then she'd get all red in the face, and it was a lot of fun.
She took it seriously. Twister absolutely counts. I was never a Twister person. I think Twister was a precursor to yoga, of getting people to stretch and move, and I don't know. In this day and age, I'm not sure Twister kind of really. I don't think people are going to be interacting with each other that way, like
or unless you're
laying over each other and reaching underneath.
I guess
Twister does count. It absolutely does count, but I don't know that today.
I guess unless you're one of those parties,
where everyone's putting their keys in a bowl.
You could definitely pervert that game big time.
Yes,
I'm sure.
Strawberry Shortcake apparently had a board game. Who didn't have a board game? I mean, there was if something caught on like Urkel, the Urkel board game, or
did the game smell? Did it have the smells too?
I hope it was scratch and sip.
Scented? Did it have all the scents like the dolls did? Christy, I was wondering.
Good question.
I'm curious.
Dukes of Hazzard had a board game when he was younger too.
Yeah.
Was everything.
Star Wars. I had the Star Wars Escape from Death Star game, and all that.
The objective of Dukes of Hazzard, I believe, was to reignite the Civil War. I think that was the point of that game. Too soon?
Oh, man.
Too soon? Darts. Yeah, well, darts is that's a little dicey. That could be. I don't know anybody that had a dartboard in their house, because parents would be like, oh, you're making holes. If you miss, you're making holes in the wall.
That's right. Yeah.
You know,
unless you had like a basement or something there that, you know, or
let me ask everybody. I've got a question. Do color forms count? Do color forms count? What was color? Are color forms a game or is it an activity?
I think it's more of an activity. I think it's definitely more in
what do you think?
In the line of a coloring book or.
Put it in the chat. Was color forms a game?
Yeah, I definitely think it's more of an activity type of game.
There we go.
Christian. Hungry Hippo. Yeah, that was a good one. Hungry
Hippos. There were no points. No, there weren't any. There weren't any points. And sometimes, what was the point of it? You're kind of making. It was vinyl stickers. Yeah, but was it an imagination game, right? Where you kind of make your own stories and
yeah.
You know, I don't recall playing color forms with somebody. Usually, you kind of had it. You had the set,
right?
And you kind of set things up yourself, and you kind of did it. Yeah, we've got activity. That it was more of an activity. Sean saying it's an activity. Beth is saying an activity. Elizabeth saying that it's an activity. Okay, good. Yep. What about Etch-a-Sketch? Is that a game or is that an activity?
An activity for sure. Yeah. That's more of an art thing. Like you draw. It's like it's like, you're teaching yourself how to make cool designs and that kind of thing. So yeah, that most definitely. I don't think there was any kind
activity?
Of a competition unless you set it up to be a competition. I can draw better squiggly lines than you can, but
it could turn into a very violent game if you grab it from somebody and shake it. That just became a game of life and death.
Yeah.
Activities. Okay, great. All right, I've got let me roll out another trivia question. Let's see. Okay, because Connect 4 came up, so I do have a Connect 4 question. Which company manufactures the game Connect 4? Who makes it? You got to go into there was a lot of classic board game makers.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not so as easy as you think, but which company manufactured the game Connect 4? Do not get on your phones. We're getting you ready for next week of not getting on your phones, because next week's trivia is all brain power.
Yeah.
Anything you win or lose is a game. Everything else is competition. Okay. I could go with that. If there's a winner, or someone completes the objective, I guess, of whatever the game is. Wow, we've got Galoob. Andy's digging one out of the tombs.
In the well there. Yeah.
He went to the crypt for that one. We've got Parker Brothers. We've got a Hasbro. Mm-hmm. Parker Brothers. You know what no one has said yet? The Titan of games, Milton Bradley.
Milton Bradley. Yep.
Right? No one has said that yet. We'll just wait, see if we get a couple more answers. Tonight we are giving away a copy of Yahtzee as one of our giveaway items. And of course, the retro series, this is the 1986. It's new, but it's the 1986 version of Clue. So those are both two games that you can bust out at your party or bring it with you to a barbecue and have some good casual fun with everybody. The correct answer, who got it first, is Miss Elizabeth Berg with Hasbro. Yep. Followed by Beth. Right after that, two Elizabeths, and then John got it as well, and Dwight got it as well too. So, but no one said Milton Bradley, which is interesting. That's kind of like Parker Brothers Parker Brothers is another big one that you think of. Those, I think Hasbro, Parker Brothers, Milton Bradley were the big ones. Galoob, God, that came out of nowhere.
Galoob, I remember Galoob being really big in the 80s.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Go do what you got to do.
Yep. So that being said, I do have a trivia question with Hasbro. Okay. So according to Hasbro, the tallest Jenga tower was how many levels tall? Was it A, 40, B, 5, C, 20, or D, 100? Tallest Jenga tower built, according to Hasbro.
I think it's easy to say that 5 is going to be out of the...
Right. So
5 is not even like a tower.
A, 40, right? B, 5, C, 20, or D, 100. We have a 100,
Yeah, we got a couple. Let's wait for them to roll in, because if people detect a pattern, they might jump on the bandwagon. But then they could be wrong. All these other everybody could be on a bandwagon of incorrect answers as well. So again, put that in the chat.
But again,
like I said, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Another nerve-wracking game though. Jenga is just absolute.
It was the precursor to that was like building a house of cards.
Yeah.
Where you would just get the deck and you would just start with like a little hut, and then you would start adding on, and then you'd go up to another level, and part of it would fall, and you'd be like, oh crap, and then you'd be able to save the rest. And then Jenga was just like the next evolution of this thing's gonna fall, and I don't want to be the one that makes it fall.
Yep.
All right, we've got 3 of the same answer, and then we've got 2 of the same answer, and no one guessed 5. So at least at least we're good there. Yep. So it's got to be either 100 or 40. And what is it?
It's 40.
It's 40.
40 levels plus 2 additional blocks on top.
Sean had 40.
Tallest tower ever built.
Beth had 40.
Yep.
John DeGook had 40 as well.
Yeah.
Well done. The 100 crew was Elizabeth Berg and Ray were on the 100 crew. They thought it was skyscraper proportions. I don't know that 100 would, if it was regular sized Jenga pieces, I think that thing would be like kind of starting to tilt over, like just gravity would take over. So put it in the chat. What are games? Are there any games that you play now? What do you guys do? You go in? There's a whole cottage industry now of games for adults. Even if you go to Walmart or you go to Target, you go to Barnes and Noble. Yep. There's sections of games, and we can talk extreme stuff like Cards Against Humanity, which is absolutely like, if you've never played it, and you have to be thick-skinned and you have to be with the right company. But there are absolutely adult-oriented, and I don't mean content, but just games that adults play. Mm-hmm. What are people playing now? Are you playing it? Are you playing older games? Do you like the class? I have Yahtzee right over here, the very version that we're giving away. Yeah. I've got that because those are staples. Like that's something you could just kind of bring out, open it up, and everyone, oh my God, and the scorecards, and it's easy just to start getting somebody to roll the dice and getting into. So what games, if any, are you playing? There's some modern classics like Ticket to Ride, which is a newer type of game, but Settlers of Catan is another modern classic that came out, it's probably over 20 years ago now. But these are modern classics, whatever Ray Fry brings over. Hopefully he'll bring Horrified over because he won the copy of Horrified that we gave away during our Halloween episode.
Yeah.
So hopefully he brings that. But I'm a big, and then actually I have I don't know if I could reach it. Let me see if I can reach it. This is really neat. I think it's within reach.
In my house, we still have, Parcheesi, and the retro, I think, original board. We have Clue, the Office version of the Clue, actually, which is kind of neat. Monopoly. I think we got a Star Wars Monopoly upstairs, and so we like to go retro. We like to do the classics.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we even had Battleship at one point. I don't know what happened to it, but it's gone.
Where I like to get board games from is from Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Because you get a lot of people with brilliant ideas, and they kind of go to crowdfunding to make their dreams become a reality. Let's see. Elizabeth says, well, first Ray says, then he makes Sean. Ray will bring the game, but then he makes Sean read the directions. Elizabeth, I love getting themed games, like Mandalorian everything, and card games like BS War. War is just a classic as well. If you've got a deck of cards, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Cards Against Humanity, Taco Cat, Exploding Kittens is another one. But there's one company called Button Shy Games, and they're out of New Jersey. And their thing is to make games that fit in a wallet. So they make these small games. The parameters is the game has to be 18 cards. So it's something that you could just kind of take with you.
That's neat.
And almost every month they come out with like a different game. And some of them are like solo games. Some of them are 2-player. Some are 4-player. And there's just all different kinds of, Circle the Wagons, which is like a Western game. And it's just easy stuff that you can just kind of grab with you. If you're going on a trip or you're going somewhere, you can kind of bring a few of these with you and not take up a lot of room. And they're like 10 or 12 bucks each. So I really kind of like, getting these like small, they're called wallet games. Because the innovation is there because it only can be 18 cards. So you have to come up with a game that fits, it's playable, it's fun, but it's also pocketable. So we've got Taboo Ray plays. Rummy Cub and Taboo also are Taboo. So I don't know why I've got this weird Taboo. I think Star Wars like Naboo. I'm saying Taboo. Naboo. Taboo.
Yeah.
What else do people play? It's easy to get a deck of cards. Like Elizabeth said, War, Rummy, Poker 21. Poker. Those are kind of easy. You have a deck of cards, you can just start coming up with something. Mm-hmm. What's the garden game and the mint game? Yeah, Mintworks is another great game that kind of became a really fun, pocketable game that kind of kicked these off. Is a game called Mintworks, and it was basically based on. Let me see if I can grab it. Hold on, I've got it nearby.
He always does. I'd like to see what his room looks like at this point. He's like got games just surrounding his desk, probably stacked to the ceiling. No,
everything's orderly. No, I don't go crazy. And they're so small. So Mintworks is really a neat game. See, it looks like an Altoids tin. Yeah, and that's what cool. It was inspired by. And the game is basically a bunch of mints, and the mints are workers, and you have to draw cards and put your mints on different places, and you get points for what the mints do and stuff like that. So I like this kind of stuff where it's easy, it's pocketable, and you grab it and go it, and you just unpack this, and the whole game is in there. So this is really, I really like these small they're called micro games basically. So
yeah.
Let's see. Elizabeth learned to play poker at Girl Scout camp. All right.
Wow.
What do you guys like using Samoas for chips?
Yeah, like the cookies.
Thin mints for chips? Playing for cookies. It's like Danny DeVito in Cuckoo's Nest. I bet a dime breaks the cookie in half. You can't. What are you gonna do? You can't smoke that. Uno back in the day. Uno is an evergreen. Yeah. Uno's an evergreen game. It's never going to go out of style. Yeah. Let's see. I've got let's see. Let me see what question I have. Okay. In which game? I know one person already mentioned it. So, but hopefully people missed it and it was early on. In which game do you have to fit 25 shapes into matching holes before the timer runs out?
That's a good one.
In which game do you have to fit 25 shapes into matching holes before the timer runs out? Another stress-inducing game. If you're skittish and the timer runs out and those shits come flying out, you gotta catch it. While we're waiting,
I'm sorry, Christy. This is a dime. This is shit.
You can't smoke it.
I want to watch the movie now. I want to go after this. I'm going to go put it on. I think.
I bet a dime. I bet a dime. This is a dime. Breaking it in half.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting, so go ahead and in which game do you have to fit 25 shapes into matching holes before timer runs out? It's not multiple choice. You got to know it. You got to know it. So Sean, honestly, Disney Princess Enchanted Cupcake Party game. Candyland, Clue Junior, Uno Attack, Garbage, Memory, whatever my daughters want to play. So you're in the thick of it,
there you go.
right? So you with your children, you're the parent passing those things on, right? And Candyland is a game from 100 years ago. So I'm going to guess that you might have had something to do with the choice of that, right? It's kind of like, oh yeah, Candyland, because we all remember it. We've got a couple of answers. Well, Boggle, Pictionary, or some other games as well. But in which game do you have to fit 25 shapes into matching holes before the timer runs out? Not Operation.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of the name. Wow, it's a good one. It's a stumper. Just
to go back to Elizabeth Berg and her poker training. She's saying that the M&Ms were chips. That's not a bad thing. Greens are 25, browns are 10, and reds, or just chuck them all in.
That's great.
Elizabeth is saying she could picture the game. It has yellow pieces. Yeah, I believe the board was was red.
That's right.
I'll give you a hint, and maybe this will help. You had to turn the dial to set the timer, and it would start going zzz, like it would start counting down, and then you had to put all the pieces in.
Yeah. Yep. Oh my God.
And Elizabeth said it scared the crap out of her when it would pop. When it would pop up. Anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a stumper, man. I know the game. I could see it. I could see it in my head, but I can't think of the name.
I knew he was going to get it because he had said it earlier, it's Sean Grady, Perfection.
Perfection.
And Christy got it too. Perfection. You had to get all that stuff in right before the timer went and then hit it,
pieces
stop it.
And if you didn't make it,
go flying all over the place. So then it became, what game do you have to fit 24 shapes into matching holes because you'll lose one?
I had
HiQ. I had HiQ. Eric, do you remember HiQ?
I do.
With the pegs, right?
Yeah.
You had to jump the pegs until there was like one left.
Yep.
That was definitely old school.
I had a version of I guess it was Operation, I guess you could call it. It was a Jaws game.
Yeah.
And it was in the shape of the shark. It was the shark, and you had the mouth was like had like a rubber band, like a trap jaw type thing.
Oh, and you had to take the stuff out, like the license plate.
Everything was weighted down, so his jaw was weighted. So you had to take the pieces out of his mouth, and with a big long hook, like on the orca. And that was cool because that was nerve wracking too. So the jaws would snap shut on you. That was a cool game. Yeah,
all those kind of games like that. Like what was it? What was the one with the? It was like a clear cylinder, and you had all the sticks were in it and the marbles, and you had to pull a stick out and not have the marble fall. Do you remember? Like there'd be all those marbles, and you had to be. Was it called Kerplunk?
Yes,
Kerplunk.
Could be. Yeah. Something to that effect. Yep.
Sean's saying his girls have a version of the Jaws game. It's called Shark Attack. Similar and stress-inducing.
Yes.
And do you get a little bloody quint that gets snapped in half? Do you put like quint on the mouth, and then when it snaps, he breaks in half.
One of the pieces was a leg. There's like a little foot. And there was like garbage. There was like a little can, and other things. But one of the pieces
that they found.
It was like somebody's leg.
Family Feud absolutely had a game. I mean, all game shows. The original was like the Jeopardy game. Remember, it had like a red film on it, so you wouldn't be able to see you'd have to lift it up, and then you'd see the question.
That's right.
Like it had like a board.
Yeah.
And even the game show Concentration was another one, where they had like the home game, and you would you'd put the clue behind the board, you'd reveal the different pieces, then you'd have to figure out what the saying was or whatever. Wheel of Fortune, all those game shows had the home, and they would give them you won the home version of Wheel of Fortune, or you won the home version of Card Sharks.
Yep. And getting back to some of those games like Hungry Hungry Hippo too, you had stuff like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. That's a classic, right? And I had a version of that game. It was like I don't know who made it, and I've never seen it since. But there were two World War I biplanes. It was like,
really?
Like you had a German plane and you had like a British plane, and it was like, and you moved them back and forth like this, and they shot like metallic marbles, and you had to like hit the other guy's plane and collapse it, and the thing would just fall apart.
That could be dangerous.
Yeah, it was, but it was cool. And those things were, you shoot those things and they hit hard. Wow. So if they bounced off the board and hit you, you get right in the eye. So I that's probably why you don't see it.
Like getting hit with buckshot.
Yeah, because you were physically it was like a gun, but in the shape of a plane. But the plane when you hit it, it would collapse in pieces. So it was really cool. Yeah, that was a cool game.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah,
that sounds very dangerous.
Okay, I got another.
Good, you got a trivia question? Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so the inventor of which game came up with the idea for the game after he and his wife dominated another couple in Pictionary, but lost horribly in Scrabble? Okay, so the inventor of this game came up with this idea for this cool game that his wife were really good at Pictionary, but they would always lose at Scrabble.
So I'd say in Crossfire, you shot metal balls also.
Yeah, against the puck. Yeah, it's pretty similar. Yeah.
So we're looking for the name of the game that was invented.
Name of the game that was invented, that because it's because they were really good at Pictionary but horrible at Scrabble. So he invented this other game. And it's a pretty popular game nowadays. Yeah, you could,
Really?
Yeah.
And no multiple choices.
No multiple choice. No, you have to guess it.
Yike. They were good at Pictionary, but they were horrible at Scrabble.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Any takers?
No taker. No one is.
Nobody's. Yeah.
Eric rolls out the stumpers. He really comes with the brain busters.
No. We give up.
Bueller.
Cat. One more time. The inventor of which game came up with the idea for this game, because him and his wife were really good at Pictionary. They dominated with Pictionary, but they would always lose horribly in Scrabble. So they invented this other game. Well, we got a win, lose, or draw.
Oh, there we go. Okay, we got some stuff coming in. We got win, lose, or draw. Cranium.
Okay.
I think that's all we're going to get.
And Sean Grady has the correct answer. Cranium.
Wow.
Yep. That's it.
Grady, go to Atlantic City. You're on a roll. Perfection. You guessed the answer to the question perfection before I put it up. You put it up in the beginning. I'm like, damn. I was like, there's one of the answers already.
Yep.
Cranium. I don't think I ever played Cranium. I remember seeing it, and it's still, it's very popular. But
yeah, I think
Pictionary is good. Categories was always fun.
Yep. Sean's like, yes. Took me a minute. Yeah.
Sean is a quiz master, because he always sends me texts of screenshots of random questions on Jeopardy that I can't believe they ask. And usually I'm like to Sean, my response is usually like, really? Like that's the question they asked?
Yeah.
Like, one was a Phil Collins one. It was absolutely ridiculous.
And nobody ever gets the music questions. Nobody ever answers. I don't know. Like rock and roll, like if it's about rock music, they have no clue.
But they'll tell you what the 23rd element is on the periodic table, but they can't tell you who this Genesis person was a drummer. Like, I don't know. I didn't know.
It blows your mind.
Can Sean not be part of Trivia Night? Wow. And now that the mutiny has begun, can Sean not be a part of Trivia Night? No, I think the questions we've come up with are a good mix of difficult things and things that are very attainable.
Christy, the answer is always Jeff Lynne.
Usually.
And
that's usually what the answer is. It's usually Jeff Lynne. So as we're starting to wind down tomorrow, if you're looking at the bottom crawl there, we've got a new episode coming out, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. What a fun episode it was. Our friend Roland Arucci helped us out. He jumped in. He's a Trek fan, so we grabbed him off the boards and brought him in. If you're not a Trek fan, give the episode a listen anyway.
Yeah.
Because we really try and approach it from a somewhat of a non-Trek point of view. Because on its own, it's a really good, even though it happens to have the name Star Trek on it, it's really just a good standalone sci-fi film. And you have to kind of put your impressions of Shatner and all that stuff you think about, put it to the side and just kind of watch this film. Mm-hmm. Some of that is in there, but you're really missing, you're really doing a disservice if you're judging it based on the Trek name. It's a movie that you actually want to come out.
And it's the 40th anniversary. Yeah.
40th anniversary. So it's a great one. So definitely check it out. And like I said, in 2 weeks, we're doing full-on Trivia Night. We're doing full-on 3 rounds, 10 questions each, plus the bonus round at the end. But it's going to be on we're trusting you. Trusting you.
Stay off your phone.
Stay off the Google.
Stay off the Google. Yeah.
I'll be tuning in. Remember seeing it in the theater. Want to revisit over the summer. Yeah, it's just a great, it was fun to revisit it and watch it. I hadn't seen it in a while, but it's widely regarded as the best of the Trek films. So we didn't pick something that's going to be like, cringeworthy.
We love, and it was interesting that Roland and Nick Leshy also joins us in the episode. We loved hearing different perspectives. And as the episode was going along, you start thinking about the film a little bit differently. So it's a lot of fun to get those to get that feedback and to get those perspectives going. So I didn't think about that, So it's always fun to
and then just to tee up next week, we have a very special episode coming out next week, where we spent an hour with Andrew Cremines, and he told his story about meeting his childhood heroes, Metallica. Not only did he meet Metallica, he ended up doing work for them, not only once, but twice.
Yep.
And we kind of thought it would be a fun episode to talk about what it's like to meet your heroes and whether or not you should, and what his experience was. So that's a very special episode that we have coming up too as well. It's just a conversation. It's not about any specific album, but it's just about him relating the experience of how he ended up working for Metallica. And then how he ended up meeting Metallica too, which was that was the bucket list item, was not only working, but actually meeting him. So we've got that on the horizon too. So we're going to tease that a little bit. If Trek isn't your cup of tea, come check out our Andrew Cremines meets Metallica episode.
Yes.
So I think it's time to draw some winners. I think we've kept everybody here long enough. So
I think so.
We've got some winners here. We're going to give away a copy of Yahtzee. How do you get, just a random trivia question, what does it mean to get Yahtzee? What does that mean? What does that mean? If you're playing the game and you yell Yahtzee, what happened? What happened if you yell Yahtzee? And then we're also giving away a copy of Clue, the retro edition. So this is the 1986 retro edition. It's still the same game, but this is the classic game that we all grew up with the classic, Professor Plum and those before they kind of changed some of those characters. So what happens when you yell Yahtzee? What happened in the game when you do that? I need some answers before we give it away. Otherwise, I'm not giving away Yahtzee. If you don't know what it was, you're not getting the game. It's just not happening.
Ooh,
I'm taking it away. We giveth and we taketh away.
That's right. The gauntlet is down.
Yes.
He has spoken.
Let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got nine of us here. So there's 10 in the chat. I've got 9, but 10 people attending, and Andy left. So put your name in the chat real quick. If you're just passing through, if you're seeing this stream on Facebook, put your name in the chat because you might win a game. You don't have to be present to win. Even if you're scrolling by, just say hi in the chat and we'll put your name in for a giveaway. That's as easy as it gets. You can't get much easier than that on Facebook. Then you can scroll by if you want. If you want to go check recipes or see a dog jump into water or do whatever, kind of do that. But put your name in the chat so we know you're here.
Yep.
You clean up. That's the answer. That's not the answer. That's not the answer. I'll give it to you. Time stops. Your heart beats really fast. No, Yahtzee is basically kind of like a game of rummy, or it's like a poker game. You're trying to get a straight, or you're trying to get 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind. And one of the trivia questions I didn't get to was how many dice are in a traditional game of Yahtzee, and it's 5. So if you get all 5, let's say you roll 3 4s and then you roll the other 2 dice and you get the 2 other 4s, you've got 5 of a kind. That's Yahtzee. So if you get that elusive 5 of a kind, you yell Yahtzee because you got the 5 of a kind, which is worth the most amount of points. And then time stops, and then your heart beats really fast. So you're onto it. That's what happens afterwards.
So, and isn't this the game that originated actually on a yacht? Isn't that where they got the name from?
I don't think so. That's a good question.
It might be a question, a trivia question. I think.
No, because it would be. Wouldn't there be a C in the word? Then it would be YACHTZE.
Well, it's a play on the word, I guess. But yeah, but that's what I heard. I heard it was the game was invented because they played it on a yacht. Is it true? I think I saw a trivia question on that. So.
According to Hasbro, the game was invented by an anonymous Canadian couple who called it the Yacht Game because they played it on their yacht with their friends.
There you go.
There you go, Eric.
Yeah.
Confirmed. Rumor confirmed. Myth busted. Ray, heading out. Thank you very much. Stay with it. We're spinning now, so we're going to get this done. We're going to spin for these, so if you want to hang out just for an extra second. If not, thank you, Ray. If you win, of course, we'll let you know. Let's get the wheel of names up here. Let me get that shared, and we'll let everybody go, and we'll get out of here. And like I said, we're gonna be really promoting the trivia coming up in 2 weeks. So share and get people involved. It'll be a really fun night of just some trivia, and you guys can sit there, get an adult beverage if you want, or just have a regular beverage if you want to. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. So here we go. We're putting the wheel of names up. It's ready to rock and roll. I think we've got everybody. Again, if there's people that kind of founded by a Canadian. Yep. Again, and Tim Hortons. Two great things that came out of Canada. How many clicks? Let's do 5. Spin? Let's do 5. 1 for Yahtzee. 2, 3, 4, 5. And here we go. We're spinning away. This is for the copy of Yahtzee. So we will get this out to you directly via Amazon. And the winner is Mr. John DeGoog.
Yeah.
Well done, sir. You eked it out and squeaked it out. So we're going to get you the copy. We're going to get you the copy of Yahtzee directly. Whoops, that doesn't count. Hang on, let me get rid of that. I meant to remove him. Doesn't count. Sorry. Hang on, John. No, we're going to close that. Sorry. We have to remove him so the odds are correct. There we go. Sorry about that. That was a false alarm. But John did win legit, but we needed to get him off the thing. So now the odds are better. So Elizabeth, hopefully you'll win again. Let's do. You did 5. Let's do 6 because this was another trivia question I didn't get to. How many wedges do you need to collect in Trivial Pursuit to win? And you need 6. 6. What we used to call pieces of the pie. So we'll do 6 shuffles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here we go. Spinning away for a copy of Clue, the 1986 version. Don't tell me it's going to be him again.
Oh, my God.
Dwight is the winner, which means that Dawn Bray will be the winner because he gives it away and he gives it to her. So congratulations, Dwight. As usual, this guy, I can't get Dwight to go to Atlantic City for crying out loud. He really needs to go. Congratsy. I got that.
There you go.
Congratsy, Yahtzee. So Dwight will get your copy of Clue out to you directly, and John DeGoog will get your copy of Yahtzee out to you. So well done, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Again, we're going to keep shilling tomorrow. Check out that Star Trek II Wrath of Khan. Share the episode. The Wheel of Dwight, of course. I mean, I don't know if he's got some algorithm in there that because we named it his, he's gets a certain cut. I could tell you we have no fix in there, but Dwight wins again, and he's very grateful for that. Thank you, Dwight, as well. We appreciate it. Check out the Wrath of Khan tomorrow. Check that out. We should have a quick hit, I believe, coming out Sunday. If the scheduling is right, we'll have that as well. And share it. Share these posts with us. Thank you, Sean. Much appreciated. Thank you, Christy. Great. Thank you guys for everybody coming in. Much appreciated. Like I said, we really got the trivia coming. So we're going to have the full-on trivia night. We'll see how that goes. But get people to come out, invite people. I'd like to get an idea of how many people are coming just so we can kind of know what we're managing. Yeah. But if you can share the post and get people to come, it'll be a fun evening of some trivia, and we'll kind of roll through it and have some good time. So, yes, thank you, John, as well. Share, like CHER, like share. Yes, share it.
Always a pleasure, guys.
Thank you. Have a great rest of the week as well, John. Thank you. And for Eric, because he's right there. Nope, he's right there. There he is. Right. This has been Dean, and we will catch you on the flip side.
You've been listening to the 3324 podcast with Dean Legiro and Eric Kuber. You can find us on your favorite podcast provider, so please like, subscribe, and rate to become a part of the 3324 family. Your feedback is important, so make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at 3324 Podcast and on Twitter at 3324P to join the conversation.